Start. Oh, and Campbell's just joining now. It's perfect timing. Yep, we got both. Good evening. Go for
We're
it.
good to go.
Yep.
Good evening, everybody. We'll start the Committee of Adjustment meeting for May 14th, 2025. The way we operate is we'll announce the application, and then if ever you have any questions after the board has made their request or reply, just put up your hand and state your name and address, just so it can be and put it in the minutes of our meeting. Okay. All right. Any declaration of pecuniary interest? Campbell and Jonathan, you can hear? All good?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, all good.
Okay. Hearing none, the approval of the agenda.
Yep. It is moved by Kathleen Rochon and seconded by Campbell Anderson. That be it resolved that the agenda for the Committee of Adjustment meeting held on May 14th, 2025 be adopted as presented.
Everyone is okay with the agenda? Okay. So the adoption of the, I'm sorry, we did that. The adoption of the minutes, please.
Yep. It is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Kathleen Rochon. Be it resolved that the minutes of the Committee of Adjustment meeting held on April 8th, 2025 be adopted as presented.
Everybody had a chance to read the minutes and we're okay? Okay, I'll bring it to a vote. Everybody in favor? Carried. The comments, do we have anything to add?
Nothing to add. There are comments provided that we can speak to a bit more when we get to it on
Okay.
application C18/25.
Okay,
That we can discuss a bit more at that time.
sure.
That's the only one I would have anything to add to.
Okay, so we'll move on to the application. Consent application C1525, Sturgeon Riviera.
Thank you. It is moved by Kathleen Rochon and seconded by Campbell Anderson. Be it resolved, the consent application made by Sturgeon Riviera Limited for a lot addition at Dovercourt Road, Municipality of West Nipissing, is approved on the following conditions: that a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the Land Registry Office, and a copy of the new survey be filed with the municipality, confirmation that all property taxes are paid up to date, that all conditions be met on or before May 15th, 2027, being 2 years from the date of giving notice, that a transfer be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer for the issuance of a certificate of consent, that a PIN consolidation be registered in the Land Registry Office in order to consolidate the lot addition lands with the lands to which they are being added, and that a 3-meter frontage easement along Dovercourt Road across the entire parcel, both severed and retained lands, be registered on title to the subject property. Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm just going to share my screen here quickly.
Good. The maps are very confusing.
It is.
Yes, so this application came to council 2019. We were looking at the larger draft approved plan of subdivision. So that's kind of the bigger picture. What we're looking at is this smaller portion here, the fronts on Dovercourt Road. This block 56 is what's being added to it in order to develop the property. This block was laid out in the plan of subdivision for this purpose, is my understanding. So no changes to the draft plan of subdivision coming from this.
Okay.
So this is the Nico Crescent subdivision?
Yeah, it's at the upper end. I have
We
a,
have frontage on Dovercourt, we won't need to reinstate the stop sign.
Okay, good. Yeah, no. I had a question for it because that chunk is now isolated, the only access is from Highway 64,
That is
correct?
correct.
Okay.
It always was. You'll notice it's totally landlocked even in the draft approved.
Yes, yes.
So like Sam had said, it was always set up to be a lot addition. We just thought we'd be proceeding with the subdivision first, but such as it is, they're going to proceed with a smaller development there and work on the subdivision.
The other question I have is the red lines. What is that something that needs to be looked at?
Those are the easements that were registered.
Yeah, so there are easements on the property. That red line, I'm not sure where that's read. But the two easements are on the property, and the applicant is aware of them. I believe they're Bell easements, correct?
Bell, MTO, and there's a Bell fiber op as well through there. They're all buried or it could be culverted. So the intention here for this piece is this will be a parking area because we can't build on the easements.
Okay.
So this will be the parking area for the building to be constructed on the lands to be added to.
And the zoning of both pieces of property.
Is R3 currently.
Okay, thank you.
As soon as this
We
gets
can't see
attached,
where we can't see where Mr. Goodrich is pointing.
I'm just talking with my hands right now, Cam. I'll come up to the screen if that helps. I don't,
Oh, sorry, I guess I need to share it so you can see it.
I'm pointing at you. Yeah, these are the easement areas, so we're looking to put a building on this portion of the land, use this portion of the land for the parking area, because these are all underground easements, and it's, so it would be compatible. The proponent knows that if the parking lot is paved and it will be for the type of structure we're building, you know, if any of these easements need to be dug up, the cost of repaving is at the owner. It's not at Bell's expense. It'll be at the owner's expense, and that's part of it. Now, with respect to the zoning, we will be coming back to the next meeting for a zoning application change as well, but it would have been premature until this gets added to it so we can rezone the entire piece.
Okay, go ahead, Kathleen.
Once this is done, what will be the total lot size of the,
Oh,
that there
in
somewhere?
terms of area, I'm sorry, it's probably back in the file, but we've got 65 meters at the rear. We've got 34 meters at the front. So you're roughly, say on average, 40 by 35 or so.
Paul,
Point.
sorry to cut you
About a
off.
quarter
but
acre.
The area that the land's to be added to, the existing lot, is about 1,300 square meters. You're adding just over 700 square meters.
Okay, thank
So
you.
0.2 of a hectare, which
Yeah.
would be just about half an acre.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from our board members? Okay, any comments from the anybody else? No, okay. Hearing none, I'll bring it to a vote. Everybody in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll move on to the number 2, C1625, Jeannette Labelle.
It is moved by Campbell Anderson and seconded by Jonathan Sandiford. Be it resolved that the consent application for the creation of new lots at Lac Du Mille, Municipality of West Nipissing, is approved on the following conditions: that a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the Land Registry Office, and a copy of the survey be filed with the municipality, confirmation that all property taxes are paid up to date, that all conditions be met on or before May 15th, 2027, that a transfer be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer for the issuance of a certificate of consent. In the event that any portion of any municipally maintained and traveled road be located on either the severed or retained lands, that 10 meters from center line of the maintained and traveled roadway, including the retained lands, be surveyed and transferred to the municipality, and that the municipal clerk shall, pursuant to Section 65(1) of the Drainage Act, instruct the municipal engineer to apportion the assessment for drain maintenance among the parts into which the land is being divided. Through you, Mr. Chair, this application, I'm just going to pull it up here quick again. You're looking at consent for 3 lots, which are the ones outlined in red here. So this application was initially brought to the committee in 2015 and was approved at that point. They only got the certificate for part 2 in the middle here, so that lot was created, and then the rest of it lapsed. So they're just looking to come back and get those 3 lots now that were previously approved. You will note that the minor variance, or sorry, that the lots don't have the required frontage. There was a minor variance in 2015 when they initially came in with the application to reduce the minimum lot frontage, and that is still in effect. So they do meet the minimum lot frontage in accordance with this minor variance.
Okay.
I have one question in regards to the map. Why is it listed as Villemay Drive?
Yeah, it's, I guess originally it was called Villeneuve Drive,
On,
right?
on the old registered plan M297, it was actually just, it was dedicated to the municipality as Villeneuve Drive, and then since renamed Lac du Domaine.
Like, do you mean?
Okay, I thought maybe,
No,
Yes.
fair enough.
Because
I want to make sure that we're looking at
I
the
saw
right
that
document.
Yeah.
too, but, I know my road too is, doesn't have the same as what
Oh, it's
the
fun.
civic
Yeah.
address is, so.
Exactly.
So this is at the very, very
Very
end
end.
of Lac.
Very, very end.
Okay,
Yeah, so you
and
can see it
will
comes-
there need to be a road extension in order to serve the one?
No, so through you, Mr. Chair, you can see on the aerial imagery on the screen right now, there is already kind of a turnaround at the end there. So you're looking at 1 lot in between the existing lot and that property line, and then 2 to the east of that existing lot.
Okay, and the turnaround is municipally owned road?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board members? No? Any questions from the
I have
public?
one. What's the lot size? I'm sorry, just one more. What's
Yeah,
the
go
lot
ahead.
sizes? They're
Sorry, it's-
under the,
it's hard to
they're
see
under
on
the
the-
4 hectares. I'm gonna assume that would keep
They
them.
are.
Yeah, we're at
Yes.
the 1 hectare that we need now.
Yeah, so,
Doesn't have them on it.
No, it's
Part of the minor variance as well was to reduce the minimum lot area for the severed 4, which
Yeah.
is, all right, just pulling it up here.
I'm not so concerned about that as I am
Yep.
about the zoning of it. So, we've already, I know that in our zoning bylaw, we address it, but I
Yep.
just don't know on a go-forward basis if we should be asking properties to be properly rezoned to RR when they're creating RR lots, because it does create confusion for both for property owners and other people around when you have properties that are zoned rural that aren't really rural. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah,
But, and I know maybe that's a larger discussion at planning.
that would be my initial
Okay.
thought on that, would be to
Okay.
be a broader discussion.
Could we make a note on that to
Yep.
have that discussion? Because I
course.
think that if we want to start cleaning things up, at some point we need to have the zoning reflect the actual permitted uses of the properties.
Paul, you must know the size of each lot now?
Yeah,
Maybe
my
They
plan,
wouldn't
about
be
an
rural.
acre? Because it wouldn't be to a hectare.
Don is waiting.
yeah,
Well,
Don's got it.
Don, go ahead.
They're all 1 hectares.
1 hectare?
Yeah, they're all
Ah.
2.5 acres.
Excellent. Excellent.
It's up in the upper right-hand corner,
Yeah,
but I
that's
just
what I'm
can't see
looking
it. It's just too small.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking at it right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Perfect. Okay, Madame Christiane.
Oui, monsieur. My name is Christine Ribazzi. My address is 690 Lac du Mien. Now, you were saying the road, there, from the middle of the road onto the properties on the new divisions, whatever, there, it's going to be what, 10 meters, you said? Samantha?
Yes, so through you, Mr. Chair, that is the standard requirement for when we do a consent that they
Yep.
transfer their portion of the municipally maintained road. In this situation, I believe the road has already been dedicated, so it won't need to be rededicated again.
So when I look at home, the last time it was surveyed, we seen where the pin was on the new properties being done.
Yep.
So is the road going to be moved over to there, or are these people filling in this area even though it's owned by the municipality? If they want to put a driveway there, what's going to happen with that?
So they would be permitted to put their culvert and their driveway over that portion to get from the road to the property. But that is considered the municipal right of way, even if the actual
Exactly.
traveled road isn't taking up the entirety of it.
Okay, and somebody was mentioning ditching. Is ditching going to be done on both sides or just one side?
That'd be up to Public Works, right, to determine. It's not our committee to determine what about the ditching, so.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
You could just call Public Works and ask for
Perfect.
if there's anything that can be done. Okay,
Thanks.
you're welcome. Any other question? No? Okay, hearing none, I'll bring it to a vote. Anybody in favor? Carried. Okay, we're moving on to C17, Paul Ribardi.
Thank you. It is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Kathleen Marchant. Be it resolved that the consent application for the creation of new lots at Michel Road is approved for the following conditions. That a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the land registry office and a copy of the new survey be filed with the municipality. Confirmation that all property taxes are up to date. That all conditions be met on or before May 15th, 2027. That a transfer be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer for the issuance of a certificate of consent. In the event that any portion of a municipally maintained and traveled road be located on either the severed or retained lands, that 10 meters from the center line of the maintained and traveled roadway, including the retained lands, shall be surveyed and transferred to the municipality. And that the municipal clerk shall, pursuant to section 65(1) of the Drainage Act, instruct the municipal engineer to apportion the assessment for the drainage maintenance among the parts into which the lands are being divided. Through Mr. Chair, I'm just going to pull that up here as usual. This application is to create 3 lots, each of which meet the minimum required frontage and size. Fairly straightforward one.
Straightforward, yeah.
Yeah.
Now this on the,
Yes, so the next plan that you have is kind of a snapshot up at
top,
this top left corner.
okay.
I'll just go to that plan so everyone sees what we're looking at. So this is just to kind of show where that property line will fall amongst that kind of
okay.
cluster of buildings.
Okay, will that create the garage to be too close to the property line?
No.
No?
They're okay there.
That's the only question I had. Any questions from our panel? No?
Is
Any
there,
questions from the public?
sorry, is there road access to that, the barn structure and whatnot to the west there?
Yeah, sorry, just let me pull it back up here.
I see there's a gravel driveway through the severed property, and understanding, looking at the last names, this is likely a family situation, but you know, is there a right of way required between the first lot, or is there road access initially?
Sorry, it is so blurry. I believe the surveyor is on Zoom, so they may be able to answer that. Otherwise,
Well, you can see by the map that the road fronts the entirety of both the retained and subject lands.
So there is access from the road to the, once it's severed, will they need access from the house or garage to the barn?
I'm not certain what Mr. Ribbity's plans are for the property in future, but you know, all of the properties created or will be created in the future will have road access.
Okay,
yeah, so if I may, just to clarify, there may not currently be an actual driveway in place, but the property will abut the road, so they will be able to put a new driveway in for that property.
is that correct? Yeah? Okay.
It would be
Yes.
good to know the intention here, right? Because we've seen it and discussed this before, where should lot number 1 or lot number 2 get sold in the future to a third party, you know, is that gravel road access going to be sufficient for lot number 2? Or are they gonna be stuck with, you know, I understand there's tons of frontage, but is there access, right?
Well, my understanding would be that anyone who wants to, have access to the road can put it in a driveway, presuming that they make the appropriate applications, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Any more questions? No? Hearing none, I'll bring it to a vote. Everybody in favor? Passed. We will go to number 4, C1825, Relène-Lise Savage.
It is moved by Kathleen Marchand and seconded by Campbell Anderson. Be it resolved that the consent application for the creation of a new lot together with a right-of-way at 3264 Highway 539 is approved on the following conditions: that a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the Land Registry Office, and a copy of the new survey be filed with the municipality, confirmation that all property taxes are paid up to date, that all conditions be met on or before May 15th, 2027, that a transfer be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer for the issuance of a certificate of consent, and that the MTO provide written confirmation of acceptance of the proposed right-of-way, failing which the severed lot shall be water access only. So this was the application. I had said kind of at the beginning that there were some additional comments that we should discuss when we got there. So this application is for a severed lot, which fronts onto the Sturgeon River. This long strip here is the proposed right-of-way for the property. It is an existing driveway that is there. The MTO has provided comments that they have recently changed policies to no longer support backlot development. I've been in communications with them today, kind of discussing that policy, because that was new to us, new to hear for them, and that just came in the last month or so. So still kind of working out some of the quirks of that. So there has been some discussion about if that policy would apply in this situation. So what we're looking at here as proposed would be that they would have the approval to do the severed lot with the right-of-way. If MTO comes back once they provide that final decision on that policy that they are not comfortable with this right-of-way, that this lot would just be a water access only via the Sturgeon River. And then if they are comfortable in this situation, then that right-of-way would exist.
What's the policy? Can we get a Sparks notes?
Yeah, let me see if I can find from their new highway corridor management manual that came out in April 2025. All municipalities with lakefront property should be aware that the ministry will restrict backlots from using other property owners' entrances, and will require that new cottages or developments only be permitted to access the provincial highway from existing public roads or new public roads that meet the ministry's access management practices and principles. So we were discussing that this afternoon, and they wanted to kind of take it away and discuss amongst themselves a bit more for this application, and I haven't heard back yet, so we didn't want to delay this application if we didn't have to.
Paul, have you heard anything else?
Well, they actually have had this policy in place for a few years now. It was in the road traffic manual as well, but they, and when they first informed me of it, I used a highway metaphor and told the planners there to stay in their own lane. That this was land use behind. I understand it, like if we were to create 20 lots along the river and use just a laneway access, that's their concern, that it isn't being built to, the entrance then wouldn't be built to their standard. My response was always, how many cars can you get from a driveway onto a highway at a time? It's one. Doesn't matter how wide the driveway is, you can only get one on at a time. In the meantime, and we don't mind going with water access only in the meantime until they sort out the policy. What we will probably do is a 21-year less a day right of way. And that's what we've done for other clients, because at least that gives them the ability to bring in, like if they want to construct a new cottage, it gives them the ability to bring in, the trucks from the building supply store. They can bring their backhoe in to dig it. And, and then get everything on site that they need on site. And then after the 21 years lapses, then they go to a water access only situation. Most of them continue to use the driveway anyway, even in those situations. But if the abutting owner says, no, your 21 years is up, that's it. They really have no recourse. It's registered on title though, so everyone knows the limitations. They know about the sunset clause, but it does allow them to easier ability to construct it, because otherwise they'd have to barge all their materials into the site.
So the right of way from Highway
539.
539, is that already registered?
No, there is an existing laneway there.
Okay,
So we were proposing to create a right of way over that to be
okay,
registered on title to run with the land,
okay,
forever.
okay.
But the MTO is opposed to creating these back lots. And like I say, so if the interest in land is less than 21 years, there's no Planning Act approvals required. It's an agreement between the owners. They can, if they register it on title, then it runs with the land, but only up to, on that first year of the 21 years, the right of way no longer has any legal significance. But it is registered on title, so the people are aware of the sunset clause nature of it. And we could simply just create it as a water access only lot. But like I say, then the issue of getting in building materials and whatever then just becomes that much trickier.
And the reason the right of way goes cockeyed all over, is it because of rock?
Well, as Don says, it's wherever the drunken horse walked is where they
Yeah.
drive. No, it's northern Ontario. You can see it goes around that little loop in the river.
Okay,
Or is that on the next door neighbor's property?
No,
Sorry, that's the next door neighbor's. But
Yellow one.
usually it's either rock or swamp. That's
Okay.
why we get deviations in the road.
okay,
Path of least resistance.
okay.
The lines are in the wrong spot for the lots.
Yes, the imagery is shifted on here, so that property line is not accurate. It is
Yeah.
entirely on their parcel.
Yeah,
And is the width of the existing laneway wide enough to accommodate two vehicles? Like,
Yeah, if you want to take a look at it, you can look at it on Google. If you would take the little man and drop down on the road, you're going to be able to see it's probably just as wide as I'm going to say just as wide as the highway is there. We're back in the boonies here. Like,
yeah, but there would be
it's
no
not that-
problem having two vehicles meeting each other?
No,
Okay.
and if what Sam had up on screen, if you look, they have a loop going in there. There's actually somebody that lives down there right now. And
Okay.
that road is ambulance ready. They've already gone
Okay.
through a fire and the fire trucks have gone down it.
Perfect.
Just to quickly,
Yeah, because I was looking on your. You can
There
see.
you go.
this is that access from the highway.
Okay,
And as you go down, it does get wider. Way down at the end, like this is the home driveway for the existing owners, which are the parents.
okay, thank you. Any further questions from board members? No? Okay, I'll bring it to a vote. Anybody in favor? Carried. Okay, number 5, C1925, Stephen Gilmet.
It is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Kathleen Marchant. Be it resolved that the consent application for the creation of a new lot at Trottier Road, Municipality of West Nipissing, is approved on the following conditions: that a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the Land Registry Office, and a copy of the new survey be filed with the municipality, confirmation that all property taxes are paid up to date, that all conditions be met on or before May 15th, 2027, that a transfer be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer for the issuance of a certificate of consent, In the event that any portion of a municipally maintained and traveled road be located on either the severed or retained lands, that 10 meters from the center line of the maintained and traveled roadway be surveyed and transferred to the municipality, and that the municipal clerk shall, pursuant to section 65(1) of the Drainage Act, instruct the municipal engineer to apportion the assessment for drainage maintenance among the parts into which the land is being divided. So this application is for the creation of one new lot. Sorry, I'm just getting it pulled up here. So we're looking at it, which is this lot just south of the main parcel here. It does meet the minimum lot size and frontage. It does have an area of 4 hectares, so it would be considered a rural property. You can see that there are 2 previous severances that were done underneath. Those were created in 2022.
Okay. Any questions from our panel?
Were the previous severances done by the same owner?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, and then, but this would be the third and
Last.
last. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Any questions from the, no, I'm sorry. Don, go ahead.
Just to comment on what Kathleen has talked about for the fourth severance. Yeah, it is the last severance, but there will be another severance coming out of this lot, which will be the natural severance of the road. So I just want you to be aware of it. As you can see, the road goes into the retain.
Yeah.
There will be a natural severance coming out of that lot.
Okay.
Okay, I just showing you, because when we do the survey, we will finalize surveying the road to get this last lot out, even though you have all of Trottier Road from in front, but the remainder of the road which goes into the retain will be surveyed, and there will be another lot done there. But it's a natural severance, so kind of doesn't count.
Will that be a billable lot?
Yes, it will be.
How does that work within our policies?
It doesn't, because it's a natural severance. Not much we can do about it.
It's just generally accepted as,
It doesn't count.
yeah, it's not an application. It's not a,
Okay.
So technically, it's considered a separate piece of property and would if it had a sufficient area and frontage, would qualify for additional severances.
Okay.
Nature gave them a freebie.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
That horse again.
Yeah, the road was created by a higher power, the drunken horse.
All right. Hearing no more from anybody else, I'll call it to a vote. Anybody in favor?
Sorry.
Carried. Okay, we're going to the minor variance.
all right.
MV 2025/06 Ken Haven Incorporated.
Just,
Okay.
I just can't find islands on maps.
Oh, it's, yeah, very hard to do. It is moved by Campbell Anderson and seconded by Jonathan Sandiford. It is the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to approve the variance application made by Ken Haven Incorporated to reduce the watercourse setback from 18 meters to 5.72 meters for the following reasons. It meets the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw. The variance is considered desirable for the appropriate development of the property, and in the opinion of the committee, the variance is minor in nature. This approval is subject to the following condition, that the reduction in watercourse setback applies only to the existing cottage and the proposed enclosed deck. Through you, Mr. Chair, this application is an existing cottage, which is this portion here. This deck that you see to the left side is currently an unenclosed deck. They're looking to enclose that to give themselves some more habitable space. Because of the close proximity from the deck to the water line, they do need that reduction. Instead of providing this reduction to the deck, it's better just to general practice to legalize the closest measurement. But we do have that condition there that this applies only to this cottage. So if they were to construct another cottage at a later date, it would still be required to meet that 18-meter setback or come back to committee.
Apologies. I'm usually pretty good about having my phones on silent.
Okay. So this is just to cover the existing deck.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from our panel? No?
This is everything's existing, we're just legalizing that.
So you're legalizing the existing setback over on this side to allow them to enclose the deck. So I don't know if you can, nope, never mind. So it's just that this deck currently is just a traditional unroofed deck and they're looking to enclose it, but the cottage exists, the deck exists.
Okay. Go ahead, Paul.
Sorry, it's my sketch, but I'm not the authorized agent. So, Mr. Dunn, do I have your permission to speak? It's Paul Goodrich.
I saw there's a thumbs up here.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. I just noticed the ask for the reduction is to 5.72, but the sketch shows that it's at 5.714. So the ask doesn't quite cover what the actual reduction should be. And I know it's a very steep surface on that side, and the water does fluctuate. So to me, the ask would be better at 5.6 to give a little bit of variance just in case. But right now at 5.72, we're already at 5.71. So at the very least, it should be reduced to 5.71 so that it does legalize it. And to me, it really should go to 5.6 just in case.
Because of the
With a little bit of comfort
water.
level. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
My
apologies on that, just a gut instinct around.
The, so you're saying also on that side, it's very steep down to the water?
Yeah, it's a cliff down to the water on that side.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? No? Here, oh, go
My
ahead.
apologies, just before we move on this one, can I just get clarification on if the committee requests that it be 5.7 or 5.6?
I would say, because they requested 5.6, we put it at 5.6. Are we okay with it?
Is that what the request came in as originally?
The request was for the 5.714, but we can,
Yeah.
It's only existing, they can't extend that deck, that extra meter or 3 feet or
Yes.
whatever.
Exactly.
That's fine, thank you, as long as the wording is in there to say that it's for the existing structures only.
Okay, so we'll move it to 5.6.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, hearing none, I'll bring it to a vote. Everybody in favor? Carried. All right. MV 2000, number 2, MV 2025/09, 2238229 Ontario Inc.
Mr. Chair.
No, just a sec.
Sorry, sir.
She's got a
I have to read the resolution.
resolution first.
Thank you. Alrighty, it is moved by Kathleen Marchant and seconded by Campbell Anderson. Is the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to approve the variance application made by 2238229 Ontario Inc. to reduce the parking space requirements from 125 spaces to 103, to increase the maximum building height on the new building from 11 meters to 12.4 meters, and to reduce the loading spaces from 3 to 1 for the following reasons. It meets the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw. The variance is considered desirable for the appropriate development of the property, and in the opinion of the committee, the variance is minor in nature. So in your agenda package, you do have a letter written by the agent, as well as a quick summary of the occupancy rates that were provided, as well as a memo from myself. You'll note that in my memo, I have raised some concerns with the degree of the parking reduction. It's my opinion, looking at this site, that such a significant reduction would potentially impact the functionality of this site. So the proposed construction of this new building is to have 43 hotel rooms in it, which would bring the entire property up to 103 hotel rooms. And with that parking space request of 103 parking spaces, if they were at full occupancy, you have no spaces for staff, guests, that sort of thing. Also from the site, we know that it is often used by people coming up here for tourism, recreational purposes. So people have boats, they have, bless you. They have trailers with snowmobiles in them. So just a general concern that if this site was to fully be occupied and used to its full potential, we'll say, that it wouldn't function. And then,
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so if I recall, we saw another application on this property in regards to a office or commercial space. I can't remember when it was. And that was approved, and that was supposed to be located at the southeast corner of the property. And I believe at that time there was a request for a reduction in parking spaces. That application as well. I'm going off memory.
no,
So-
you're good. My apologies. I should have brought this up. So it was in April last year. The initial application proposal for this site was where this hotel building is now. They intended to construct a 2-story mixed-use commercial, so retail and office space. At that point, the Committee of Adjustment granted the minor variance, which reduced the parking from 119 spaces down to 109 and reduced the loading spaces from 2 to 1 for that development. This is an even further parking requirement and a different use, different parking rate. So it would definitely function.
Is the intention to still proceed with the construction of that office space in addition to the construction of additional rooms?
They've kind of shifted, and this is their proposal instead now, instead of doing that commercial space.
Okay, and is the proposal to have the new building on at that same location on the
Yes.
property, on the,
Yes, there's a slight difference in the actual building footprint, but the siting of it is still very similar, yeah.
and is it going to be connected to the main hotel or a standalone building?
So in,
I know that these are more building questions than,
No,
but it
that's okay.
helps to.
yeah, so in
Envision.
function, it will function as part of the main hotel, so
Mhm.
guests would, and if I'm wrong, correct me, my understanding is that a guest would, even if they're staying in this kind of newer section, they'd
Yeah.
come into the main hotel that's existing, check in, that's where the breakfast facilities would be, the laundry rooms, that sort of thing. So it would function as part of it, but it is a separate building.
There is not going to be a connecting corridor or anything like that?
No.
Okay. And the variance in terms of the building height, I generally have no issue with because of its location. It doesn't have impact on other residential properties. I think the only thing I would be concerned about is having a building of that size kind of so close to the highway, whether it would impact any kind of vehicular visibility. You know what I mean, like sight lines and such along that. So the setbacks,
So it does meet the setback requirements. It also meets the corner sightline triangle setback so that you're not
Okay.
causing visibility challenges at that intersection.
So the MTO had no issue with it, right? Kind of just checked it. Okay. Okay.
the surrounding properties are owned by other private.
Yes, they're in
Public
different.
Works, they can be in there.
Only because I recall as well, during our budget talks, there was discussion about acquisition of some property for snow removal that was in that area that I believe is currently owned.
That's correct.
That's correct?
The adjacent properties which are vacant lots.
Yeah.
It was a proposal,
Do you have this gentleman's name?
I'm sorry, can you,
sorry.
You have to give your name,
Because
please.
we just started talking, so.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
My
we
apologies.
got off track here, so we just need your name to put in the minutes, please.
Good afternoon, Chair, city staff, and general public. My name is D.V. Sharma. I'm applicant for this application on behalf of a numbered company. The proposal is to have a new building on the location. If you give me 2-3 minutes, I can give a brief on this one,
Okay,
just to catch up.
yeah.
So earlier in 2024, we planned a building. It was 2-story building. The ground floor supposed to be a commercial for separate small units, and the second floor for the offices. The purpose of that building was to rent it out. And we got the building permit, we got the bylaws approved, everything. But when we started marketing, there was no taker for that. So the owner got upset, and then we decided what to do with this project. Then our manager for that component, Ms. Tammy, suggested that we do a building for long-term stay with a kitchenette in every room. So it could be like tenanted building, as well as it could be used for our other guests, those who are willing to stay for long time, long duration, like 1 month, 2 months, because we have such clients who come here to do construction projects and film shootings and other projects. They would like to have the entire floor or entire building. So that was the idea. So this building was developed, and we applied for revision of building permit because the old building permit was still alive. So I applied for revision, and then the parking shortage came up, more parking shortage. Last year in 2024, the parking requirement was 124, and we proposed 109, seeking a reduction of 15 spaces, and that was approved. Also, there were 2 loading spaces required, and 1 was provided, that was also approved. There were 2 minor variances, whereas building height was within the permissible limits of 11 meters. Now this time, we have little more intensive requirement, not intensive, little bit more. This time, we are required to have 125 parking spaces. We are providing 103, seeking a reduction of 22 parking spaces. There is only difference of 7 parking spaces from the existing minor variance to new requested. As far as loading spaces are concerned, 3 are required now. We are proposing 1, and building height is 11 meters permitted. We are seeking 12.4 meter height. That is increase in building height by 1.4 meter. These are the three minor variances we are seeking. As regards to the reduction of 7 spaces, consider this is a minor request, should fall in the criteria of minor request, the first test. Also, if you permit me, I can elaborate the parking strategy. There are 60 rooms in the existing building, which is comforting. 43 proposed. It's 4-story building. 11 rooms per floor, total 44 rooms. But one room will be used for utilities, sprinkler room like that. So we have 43 rentable room equipped for long-term stay with kitchenette in each room. And so it requires 103 parking spaces, 1 parking per room. Addition to that, we require 1 parking per 10 square meter office space for meeting, dining, and banquet facilities. That is what zoning bylaw says. Now here, dining and banquet facilities are not very intensive use. We don't have dining for exterior people. The people, those who stay there, they only come down for the breakfast. So the dining is not a use. We don't have dining, only breakfast is there. And meeting rooms are only daytime use. Banquet facilities are also daytime use. And people come and go there. So these 22 parking spaces are only for daytime use. And sometimes we don't have all the people, those who live there, they don't drive. Not all of them drive. Some of them, they come in group, like carpooling. So we don't need, in fact, the exact parking. Moreover, the daytime use is there and nighttime parking required. Well, there are a few concerns raised by city staff planner regarding snow accumulation and the large vehicle parking. I addressed in the letter that we agree to remove all the snow from the site. We will give contract to external agency. So no snow will be accumulated. As far as the large vehicle are concerned RVs, the boat houses, and those things, they will be strictly forbidden. No parking policy for them. This too can form a part of the conditions of approval. As regards to enforcement is concerned, the property standard department is always there to see overlook this thing. Minor variances are typically passed, approved with conditions. And so the question of administrating those conditions or overseeing how they are fulfilled is up to the city. So this is my little presentation, and I can answer any question that you may have.
Thank you. You took I do have the same, I guess, queries that if somebody comes in the wintertime with snowmobiles or a trailer, you wouldn't have sufficient
Very few
spots for.
It will be our policy not to allow parking of large vehicles on site.
Okay.
Where
I
would
have
they
some,
park sorry, where would people park if they weren't parking on site? Because there's not really, there's not anything close by.
May, Mr. Chair.
Okay, go
So-
ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to your comment, that is one of the concerns I have identified for one of the reasons I believe this application does fail the minor variance test for being a desirable for the appropriate development of the property. I recognize that the proposal to prohibit large vehicles on the property, there would be anticipated challenges with enforcing such a proposal. And then in situations where should there not be enough parking on the property, we're potentially looking at people parking on the road, which may lead to some challenges for the larger vehicles like our snowplows getting to public works yards, potentially parking along the side of the highways, that sort of
If
thing.
I could butt in here, like I share all of the same concerns as well. I'm quite familiar with that road. I used to live just around the corner from it, just around the corner from Public Works. First off, traffic management is a significant concern here. If you're traveling eastbound on the highway, it's near impossible to safely cross and turn left there to begin with. If we're increasing capacity and traffic and things like that, that's a concern for sure. Obviously, we've seen in the comments that Public Works has concerns with snow removal. And then again, for trucks with trailers of whatever type of machine or toy that they have with them that they've come up here to use and use our trails and use our tourism. Bridge Street is no place for vehicles to park. It's a dirt road, it's beat up, it's narrow. There's some significant concerns here. We've given some grace with the first variance, and I think that this one is a little too far.
Thank you. Go ahead, Kathleen.
Okay, I'm just gonna go back to my previous question because I too am uncomfortable with the reduction of parking spaces, but I think that this is a really great opportunity for growth and development in the municipality. So I want to find ways to make this work. The question I had asked previously is the numbered company under which this application is filed, do they own any of the properties that surround the Comfort Inn property? Okay, we don't own any of those properties. None of those are municipally owned. The lot that's behind, like off of Bridge, Lisgar, like,
So
is any of that municipally owned?
through you, Mr. Chair, we do own property to the north of the property. The challenge with that and potential disposition would be that there is a fairly significant drainage ditch, to my understanding, kind of in between there.
Okay,
So to do a lot addition may be
that's what
challenging in
that's
that
what I'm thinking is that
Yeah.
if we own the land or if the company owns the land, maybe there's an opportunity to do a minor lot addition that would then accommodate a slightly larger parking lot, which would satisfy everybody, because
it has.
I want to look, I always say, we want to look for ways to say yes, not reasons to say yes and whatever.
I appreciate
It's
that.
a
Yes, and
great
if I-
idea, and it's a great and fancy idea, but I would be concerned with giving up space that's Public Works, right? If there's ever an expansion there.
If I may as well, it was, because this application had come in initially for site plan control building permits. So we have looked at this previously, which is where it was identified they need this variance. It was proposed to the applicant at that time to look into alternatives such as doing a lot addition with the lands to the west or to enter into a parking agreement with the vacant lands to the west. Something that was a more long-term potential solution.
The west is not owned by us, that's privately owned.
Correct.
Here I would like to add something. On the vacancy. Vacancy.
State name for the record, please.
So-
We didn't hear your
Yes,
name.
Tammy
Yes.
Kagan. You want my home address?
No.
It's okay, thank you. I could get your position though.
General manager at the Comfort Inn. So we did submit some paperwork to you about our occupancy rate. And I do believe from January of 2025 to the end of April, we stand at 50% occupancy. That is normal for our winter months. So not even half the parking lot is taken up during those months. For the year of 2024, from January all the way from January to December, the highest months would be our August at 93% occupancy. And even at that, we never had an issue with parking. The whole 14 years I've been working there, I can only account for one weekend that we had problems with parking. But we've always had plenty of parking. We've never had to park on the street or turn anybody away. So.
Let us look at it this way that I'm asking 7 more spaces reduction. There is an existing non-variance approval on this side for 15 parking. This time I'm asking for 22 parking. So the difference of 7 parking. Would you like to run down this project because we don't have 7 parking here? Such a big project which will solve the problem of tenancy, long-term tenancy. It's like a high-rise building.
If I.
7 spots is 1 truck and trailer.
So,
Right.
through you, Mr. Chair, I recognize that and I can appreciate that. The challenge is that the previous minor variance was granted on a very different proposed development, recognizing that there would be no overnight or hopefully no overnight stays associated with that space. What that proposal had, so you had your existing 60 guest room hotel and then your commercial space. Once you accommodated your 60 rooms for one room for each guest, you had 49 parking spaces left over with that variance to accommodate your people visiting the restaurant, if it was going to be a restaurant, your retail, your office, if they were having, I think there was just recently a fabric sale in the conference room. You had almost 50, you had 49 spaces to accommodate all that. What we're looking at now, there would be not a single leftover space at full occupancy, recognizing that even though they may not be at full occupancy rates now, we do need to plan for if they are at full occupancy. We don't want to see them succeed and it go poorly for them because they're so successful that there isn't sufficient parking there.
Correct.
And February, March, and April of 2025 show an increase in your occupancy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's why we are bringing in this building.
Yeah.
Because
We
we
do.
need business, town
Yes.
need business, we need the employment, we need economic development.
Mhm.
I do believe that we strongly need another building for our long-term stays. We do have one guest that's been with us for 5 years, and he owns property in Crystal Falls. He has a house. He just chooses not to be home. And we have another one right now in-house who's been with us for 4 months because there's no housing in the area. So by offering
You
them.
also accommodate insurance claims and like I
Yes,
believe you've had
yes.
people stay with you long-term through
Insurance claims,
insurance, fires,
water issues. with
and
their
workers,
home.
I'm imagining as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes, we do. So by offering them these suites with the kitchenettes, and that is giving them an opportunity to live more of a home and instead of a one room where they're very limited. We don't allow any cooking, Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't allow any hot plates or anything in the room, so
Mhm.
it limits them.
You'd be okay? Yeah, it seems to. One thing I'm just throwing out loud here is, would you consider removing one floor and having 3 floors? So that would be 33 instead of 43, or I'm sorry, 32 instead of 43, and you would have no issues with the parking.
Yeah, that is something we can think about. I'll go to speak with the owner because there are budgetary provisions involved in this. Because putting up another floor is lot cheaper than building it
We,
from ground.
we understand.
So if you put 3, the 4 will not take that much cost, but in long run, it may reduce the viability of the project. Let us put it this way.
Because this way here, you still have you can still invest in our municipality and you conform to our bylaws also by doing that.
That's, we can look into that.
Mr. Chair, Jonathan is frantically trying to get your attention.
Sorry, go ahead, Jonathan.
Sorry, guys, I can't see the speaker, but I share the same concerns as well. But I do understand and appreciate where Kathy's coming from, where you want to enable rather than disable, right? So is there, I'm not sure what the size of the site is, but is there an opportunity to maybe stack the parking a little bit, keep the guest quota the same, to maximize the profits and that sort of stuff. But is there an opportunity to kind of creatively use semi-stackable parking or something to accommodate those 22 spots? It's not many spots, but is there room on the site to do that, for instance?
Parking even, maybe.
That's a wonderful idea. Nowadays, there are portable steel parking lots available. Those who are hydraulically operated. I have designed one.
Yeah.
So we can have like 12 stack steel building with hydraulically operated spaces. They will take less space on the ground, but they can go up and down. I think I can look into that.
Okay.
If you're okay.
What I would like to propose is to make a motion to defer this to the next meeting. And I would like to have a conversation in regards to our municipal land. And maybe like just try to look, like, I very much want to see this development happen. I think it's excellent. I think there is a need in the community for exactly what you're trying to build. And I want to try to work with you guys to find a solution that's gonna, because I have concerns about the parking space too. Your occupancy is going up and we know that it is hard to get a room in the Comfort Inn in July and August and sometimes September too. And so, we know that you are full, and if you build it, they will come and you will fill that other space as well. I have no doubt. You are the best, and really, I shouldn't say that out loud. All of our hotel operators are wonderful, but you have a very modern facility that accommodates a lot of people, and we really want to work with you to make this happen.
We contribute to community.
So if I could make a motion to defer to the next meeting, we can have a couple more discussions. I think if we make a decision now, it may not go the way that it may not give you the opportunity. So let's try to work on a solution in the next month and bring it back for discussion.
That's fine. We accept that offer. We are open to it.
Okay.
So that's on
Thank
the
you.
floor.
Okay.
Yep.
Can I get a seconder? Oh, sorry.
Meanwhile,
Anderson, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Jonathan, second. So what we're proposing is to amend it till next month. Then that way there, you can provide further info on the parking.
May I,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, just briefly,
Yeah.
quickly make a recommendation
Go
that
ahead.
be deferred to a later date, not
Okay.
specifically making it next meeting in
Yes.
case
We're
that
not-
discussion needs to take longer than a month.
Yes.
And here I would like to leave with the positive note that meanwhile I'll start working on a stackable parking structure to make you feel more comfortable.
Wonderful.
Perfect. Okay, it is moved by Kathleen Rochon and seconded by Jonathan Sandiford. It is the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to defer the application MV 2025/09 to a later date.
Everybody in favor? Okay, carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When is the next meeting? May I know?
The next meeting is
June.
June 10th.
June 10th. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much.
you. All right, your papers out of order.
Okay, we're good. We'll move on to number 3. Minor variance 2025/10, Ron and Carol Dien.
It is the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to approve the variance application to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 6 meters to 2.95 meters to allow a new covered entrance for the following reasons. It meets the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw. The variance is considered desirable for the appropriate development of the property, and it is the opinion of the committee that the variance is minor in nature. Let me just pull up our sketch here. So this application, it is an existing dwelling. They're looking to put a covered porch on the front of the property, and because of where the existing house is already sitting at the 6.12 meters from the property line, they're looking for that variance to 2.95 meters.
And that's basically to match the neighboring property, right? 'Cause the neighboring property are close to the same.
It is fairly similar, yes. The adjacent property is at 3.82 meters.
Okay. Any questions from our panel? No?
Pretty smoothly.
You, Kathleen?
Yeah, I don't think so.
You're okay? All right. Hearing none, I'll bring it to a vote. Anybody in favor? Carried. Okay. Number 4, minor variance 2025/11, Joël Rainville.
It is it is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Campbell Anderson. It is the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to approve the variance application to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 6 meters to 2.97 meters, to reduce the rear yard setbacks from 7.5 meters to 6 meters, and to reduce the exterior side yard setback from 3 meters to 0.74 meters for the following reasons. It meets the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw. The variance is considered desirable for the appropriate development of the property, and in the opinion of the committee, the variance is minor in nature. So this property sits at the corner of Salter and Parker. Forgive me, I don't know the exact date, but it was unfortunately destroyed due to a fire. They're looking to rebuild. So this plan I have on the screen right now shows you what was there before the fire. So at that time, your front yard setback was 2.97, which is what they're requesting again. The exterior side yard was actually at 0.16, and now they're requesting a 0.74. And the rear yard was larger, but in order to kind of shift that, and they're going from a 2-story structure down to a 1-story structure, they are asking for a reduction in the rear yard setback to 6 meters. So this is the proposed rebuild of the property.
Okay. All right. Any questions from our panel? No? Okay. Any questions from our public, from the public? No? I'm okay with it because I remember the old house that was there, and it was encroaching. Well, not encroaching. You don't see it because of from the ditch side to the property. So that's why, like, even before it was 0.02 from the property line.
Yes, if you
go to the old one.
So this is the this is the old property, so it will be set back a bit further from from Parker Street.
Yeah.
It is quite a wide right of way.
And the the garage side that actually abuts another residential property that meets the zoning bylaw.
It does, yes, that's the
On
interior side
interior,
yard.
The
Yep.
interior side meets.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. If hearing nothing, I'll bring it to a vote. Anybody in favor? Carried. Okay. Number 5, minor variance 2025/12, Dr. Jean Aniwati.
It is moved by Kathleen Rochon and seconded by Jonathan Sandiford. It is the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to approve the variance application to reduce the interior side yard setback from 3 meters to 2.4 meters for the proposed addition and to legalize the existing watercourse setback of 13.7 meters for the following reasons. It meets the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw. The variance is considered desirable for the appropriate development of the property, and in the opinion of the committee, the variance is minor in nature. So the proposal here, I'm just gonna pull that one up, is looking to do an addition to the rear of an existing dwelling. Because the dwelling isn't parallel to the property lines, it kind of tilts a bit. So by putting that addition on the rear and keeping in line with that side wall, they're getting closer to the side yard setback, which is the request for the 2.4 meters. And generally, it's best practice that if you're bringing in a variance to legalize or to permit one variance, you legalize the rest of them while you're there.
So, go ahead, Kathleen.
So what we're looking at is an existing building, then there's a deck on the front side that is, so the existing building, what's the line through where it says existing? Is that a deck
Is that a
and
deck
then
in
a
front?
cottage? Okay.
Speak to that, thank you.
Hi, if that makes sense, general contractor, GE Consulting and Contracting.
Thank
So
you.
I'm the one who's gonna be doing the project if this all goes well. So yes, on the lake side, it's just a covered deck.
Okay,
At the back, the addition, so if we were to follow the existing house and follow that wall directly, it falls onto, just inside of the 3 meter setback. But we are pushing the house over, or the addition over, the wall itself would be 4 feet away from that. But there's gonna be a covered area on that side to go in. So instead of having the wall encroaching on that 3 meter, it would just be the roof line that would be slightly inside, but the building itself would be set aside.
Okay. So foundation itself will be to where it should be,
Yes,
with just a line that covers the
that's right,
this back entrance.
exactly.
Okay.
is there a reason why you can't just shift the whole proposed over 0.8 meters and make everything fall, because my thing with a variance is that if you need it, it's one thing, but if there's a way to do things within, the policies, then that's a little bit better. So is there a reason why you
Yes.
can't just shift everything?
We tried. So what happens is that the other section of the house is the bedroom. So in order to make the entrance to the house still work,
Okay,
we would have to pretty much redo the inside of all the existing. At the same time, I think we'd be okay, but there's a septic on that west side that would get closer as well.
this is not in our pack, that's not in our package?
Sorry.
No, we only
Okay.
see the outside square.
So you can
That's
see
what-
that this room here and this room as well are bedrooms.
Okay,
So the entrance to this addition is not through an existing bedroom, I believe.
No, it's a hallway. So there's a doorway from both sides. And that's the existing entrance right now, which is gonna make it a little bit bigger, but the doorway to the existing house is at that location right now.
okay. I gotcha, okay. That makes sense. Thank you.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, unless yeah, that answers my question, thank you very much.
Any questions from our panel? All right. Minor in nature. Hearing none, I'll call it to a vote. Anybody in favor? Carried. Bon, Monsieur Vincent. Okay, our last one, number 6.
That was a lot of items on one meeting.
Yeah. Minor variance 2025/13, Alain Céline Plante.
It is moved by Campbell Anderson and seconded by Kathleen Rochon. It is the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to approve the variance application to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 6 meters to 5 meters and to reduce the rear yard setback from 7.5 meters to 4.5 meters for the following reasons. It meets the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw. The variance is considered desirable for the appropriate development of the property, and in the opinion of the committee, the variance is minor in nature. So this application is to reduce the front yard and the rear yard setback. This is one of those 66 by 66 lots we have
Yeah.
throughout the municipality.
Yeah.
So it is kind of, I don't want to say general practice, but it has definitely been done in the past of reducing the setbacks. This proposal would allow for a footprint of around 100 square meters, just over about 1,100 square feet.
And I would, obviously on Bain Street, there's municipal infrastructure there, eh?
Yes.
Water and sewer?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. I have no questions. Any questions from our panel? No, we're good?
See, it's the 4.5, just a little buffer. I saw in the sketch there, it's 4.75. Is that just a little extra buffer just in case? Okay, thanks, Tom.
Okay. All right. So I'll call it to a vote. Everybody in favor? Carried.
All right.
We're all done.
It
What's the
is,
other? Is there any other?
No.
Nope,
motion to
Mary.
adjourn.
just the adjournment. Okay, it is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Campbell Anderson. Be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment held on May 14th, 2025 be adjourned to June 10th.
Everybody's in favor. Carried.
Thank you.
And we totally could have done that last night.
Sorry?
I said we totally could have done that last night.